Tariffs not putting the brakes on auto sales, at least not for the more expensive vehicles. Phil LeBeau joins us now with where the buyers are stepping, how wealthier buyers are stepping up to the plate. Phil, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Wilf. And I'm not sure it's fair to say that the wealthier buyers are propping up the auto market, but they certainly are taking a greater share of the sales transactions that are happening in dealerships. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But first, in terms of the vehicle transaction prices, the data says it all. You go back to 2019 and look at the percentage of sales for vehicles under $40,000 and over $60,000. Look at what's switched in the last 6 years. It's now 1 out of every 4 vehicles, more than 1 out of every 4 vehicles, sells for more than $60,000, according to Cox Automotive. And the question becomes, okay, are people simply stepping up and saying, I will pay more for a vehicle? Or are there other buyers or particular buyers who are stepping up more often? And Cox Automotive says when you look at the breakdown in terms of income levels per household that are buying vehicles, there is a greater percentage of those households making more than $150,000 that are buying vehicles right now. That's simply what's happening. And that's the reason why you have 14% of the market now, vehicles more than $70,000. Average transaction prices continue to be near a record high, just under $49,000. That could top $50,000 within the next year, according to experts. And part of this depends on what happens with pricing coming as the tariffs take full effect, whether or not we see tariff policies change with Canada and Mexico. That will certainly have an impact. That's why as you take a look at shares of GM, Ford, and Toyota, the interesting thing to point out here is that the sales pace for the year is about 16.1 million vehicles. Remember back in April when the tariffs kicked in, almost everybody that we talked with connected with the auto industry said, watch this, we're going to see sales drop down to a pace of about 15 million vehicles. That has not happened. And for the luxury automakers, the good news is that there are still people buying. Yes, these are European automakers that we're showing you here, BMW, Mercedes, and Ferrari. And Ferrari is a slightly different class, guys. But the bottom line is this. Even though prices of vehicles are now close to an all-time high and more vehicles are being sold for more than $60,000, more than $70,000, the buyers are stepping up.
Phil, what's the outlook for the next couple of months? I mean, are all of the auto-related tariffs that are going to come into play already in play, or is there still some potential for that to
we don't know what's
down?
going to happen with USMCA, with Canada and Mexico. That's the big one, Wilf. Yes, there are agreements locked in with the EU, the UK, Japan, South Korea, and we know that those tariff levels will come down in that range of 10 to 15%, depending on the region or the country. And so those, to a certain extent, there's some certainty. But there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of what's going to happen with Canada and Mexico. And I think that's what the industry is waiting to see before they might have a better handle in terms of what happens with demand and pricing.